My name is Sydney Sharp, and I will be performing the Salem witch trials of 1692, how superstition, economic instability, and social conflicts fueled violent debates. Imagine that you are innocently living your life. Maybe you are tending to your farm or spending time at the local tavern. Then, out of nowhere, you are accused of witchcraft. People you have never seen before, and people you know personally, are accusing you of tormenting children, bewitching dogs, and turning into a cat. To society's standards, you are considered an outcast. So, when you are in your court debate, it is nearly impossible to prove that you are innocent. Nobody defends you because they are afraid. So, you find yourself being sent to Gallows Hill to be hanged. This is similar to the tragic but true story of the 144 people accused of witchcraft during the Salem witch trials. The Salem witch trials began in February 1692 in Salem, Massachusetts, when the Puritan minister's daughter and her friends fell strangely ill, claiming that a handful of women had bewitched them. Fueled by famine, cultural differences, and war, the Salem witch trials led to violent debates, and as a result, 20 people were murdered over the course of a year. The discourses that took place during the Salem witch trials changed the way people view diplomacy and our justice systems today, and it has triggered modern debates on what happened to those bewitched. Was it actually witchcraft or something deeper? In 1692, Salem was in a challenging state. The winter was one of the coldest on record. Conflict and war was common, and there was a strong social divide between the town of Salem, the wealthier part, and the village of Salem, the poorer part. So, that winter, when two cousins, 11-year-old Abigail Williams and 9-year-old Betty Paris, fell strangely ill, Salem turned to supernatural phenomenon. To understand this, let's meet one of these girls, Betty Paris. My name is Betty Paris, and I am the daughter of Samuel Paris, the village's Puritan minister. I moved here to Salem in 1689 when I was 6. Salem was established in 1626 by a group of English Protestants. As a child, I was told stories of how the devil caused chaos in the world through human agents known as witches, which could torment children and appear as ghosts. Sometime during February of 1692, my cousin Abigail and I fell strangely ill. We would dash about, dive under furniture, contour our bodies in pain, bark like dogs, woof, woof, babble nonsense, choke, and complain of painful fever and prickling skin. One physician couldn't diagnose anything physically wrong with us. Instead, he said we were under an evil hand. Soon, 12 friends of mine began experiencing similar symptoms. Then, a girl I knew told everyone that 3 women had bewitched us. So, as the bizarre symptoms of the girls spread, when the children pointed fingers at local women, the village did not hesitate to arrest them. However, the first trial didn't take place until the early summer of 1692, when the first witches were executed. And who would be better to tell this story than the first witch to be executed? Bridgette Bishop. My name is Bridgette Bishop, and I am the first accused witch to be sent on trial. I am 60 years old, and I've been considered an outsider because of my independent behavior. For example, my second husband, Thomas Oliver, had a horrible temper, and he was abusive. We got into many fights, and although women were expected to obey their husbands, I fought back. When he insulted me, I insulted him. I also owned land and possessed wealth, which made me an easy target for witch hunting. My examination was held on April 19th, 1692. I was accused of tormenting children I had never seen before in my life. The prosecutor was Samuel Paris. I debated, I never saw these persons before, nor I never was in this place before. If you please, your worship, I know nothing of it. Repeatedly, they accused me. They were not being very diplomatic. Every time I would look at the girls who accused me, they would break into fits. I wasn't going to falsely confess, so I kept fighting. I am innocent. I am innocent. I know nothing of it. I am innocent to a witch. I know not what a witch is. My trial was held on June 2nd, 1692. I was accused of stealing eggs and transforming into a cat. One of my neighbors said I had tormented him in his dreams, and another said he had seen me flying over his orchard. Now, I did not have a good relationship with my neighbors, and they were most likely trying to find a way to get rid of me. And unfortunately, they succeeded. On June 10th, 1692, Bishop was sent to Gallows Hill to be hanged. One peculiar aspect of the trials was that the court relied on spectral evidence, a witness testimony where someone states that the spirit of a person had visited them. To understand this, let's meet one of the most active prosecutors himself, Samuel Pearce. Order in the court! My name is Samuel Pearce, and I'm the village's Puritan minister. Today, Bridgette Bishop is brought forth for afflicting Abigail Williams. Do you have a lawyer, Bishop? Oh, right. You don't. Good luck. We have reliable spectral evidence that these children have been visited by Bishop's ghost and it has tormented them. As you can see, the children randomly burst into fits whenever touched by Bishop's invisible ghost. What do you have to say, Bishop? You're innocent. We don't believe you. She should be hanged. What? How dare you accuse me of being biased? Sure, I am the father and uncle of the two leading witnesses, but that doesn't matter. Case closed. Now, that was not a fair trial. As the trials continued, some saw there were problems with spectral evidence, and soon after the trials ended, spectral evidence was forbidden in Salem courts, triggering the same to happen in courts around the country. Bishop was just the beginning of many cruel executions to follow. Sarah Good, a homeless mother, was hanged shortly after giving birth in jail, and an 80-year-old man was pressed to death after not admitting to being a witch. They even threw toddlers in jail. Yes, they accused toddlers of being witches. Eventually, more people spoke out. This all came to an end in May 1693, when the governor of Massachusetts' wife was accused, and he put a stop to all activity. You might be wondering, why and how did this happen? Historians have debated this for decades. Some argue that the symptoms faced by the girls was caused by disease, while others say it was because of social conflicts. Overall, we do know that the Salem witch trials show a time in history where people's personal ideas and ignorance led to unfair court debates, and the lack of diplomacy led to the death of innocent people. The trials show parallels to discrimination and the lack of diplomacy in modern debates. For instance, McCarthyism is an example of modern witch hunt, where people were accused of being communists. In fact, the play The Crucible by Arthur Miller is an exaggerated tale of the Salem witch trials, and is also an allegory to the McCarthy hearings. The play shows the lack of diplomacy and the use of unreliable evidence in both events. The debates that happened during the Salem witch trials changed the way people view diplomacy and court justice today, and it shows the dangers of unsettled social and economic conflicts and the ability to use fear to manipulate others. Thank you.